Maui Communications Building on the campus of Texas Christian University. This is TCU News Now.
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of TCU News Now. I'm Jordan Sullivan.
And I'm Jessica Lawrence. The rifle team is mourning the loss of their volunteer assistant coach, Steven Shearer. The senior health and fitness major was found dead in his apartment from a gunshot wound to the head. The Tarrant County Medical Examiner confirmed the death of the 21-year-old and has ruled it as a suicide. This is the second suicide of a TCU student this year. October is National Depression Awareness Month. The Counseling Center is holding free screening for depression. If you or someone you know wants more information, call 817-257-7863.
There is still no set trial date for the 2006 sexual assault case of a former TCU student. The trial was postponed because of a heavy case schedule. A former student filed the case against the university. The victim accuses the university of mishandling her sexual assault case against 3 university athletes. The trial will take place in Tarrant County Court.
We're sending you upstairs in the Convergence Center with Chris Blake for an update in Frogs football.
The Horned Frog football team is halfway through what could be another historic season, but head coach Gary Patterson says he isn't looking too far ahead. Head coach Gary Patterson knows that if TCU wins out, it could be in the discussion for a national championship for the second straight year. Still, like most coaches, he keeps his head down and takes it one game at a time.
When we walked in Sunday, we didn't talk about the top of the pyramid. All we talked about was Wyoming. Last week, all we talked about was Colorado State. I tried to talk a little bit about the big picture before the SMU game, and you saw how that turned out.
The Frogs escaped Ford Stadium with a 41-24 win in a game that featured TCU's only second-half deficit of the season. But Patterson says the players aren't the only ones who have to keep their focus. Following back-to-back 10-win seasons early in his tenure at TCU, the Frogs went 5-6 in 2004.
2002, 2003, my second and third years, I thought all of a sudden I invented football. And we went 10-2 and 10-2, and then 2004 happened, and then 2005 comes back and you beat Oklahoma, and then you forget again. Okay? Well, now 10 years into it, I don't forget as easy.
As for the players, they say they do find time to fit in a little bit of scoreboard watching.
I'll go and I'll check them out to see how well they did or didn't do, and that's mainly it. It's good to see teams that we've competed against. It's good to see them go out and play other teams.
Despite playing in a conference that does not receive an automatic BCS bid, with a few more key wins, the Frogs might be able to add the exclamation point they need to make even more of a national impact.
You've got an Air Force team that played Oklahoma at home. You've got a chance for perception of winning there. You've got a top, right now they're 13th, but they may be higher by the time we play them, Utah team, which that gives you an opportunity as far as the computer rankings and all those kind of things to give yourself a chance. So I go back to the very beginning of what I said in the beginning. If we just win, all that takes care of itself.
And the Frogs are taking care of every opponent on their schedule. At 6-0, TCU received a first-place vote in both the USA Today Coaches Poll and the Associated Press Top 25 for the first time since 1958. Patterson says it's nice to finally get that level of respect on the national level.
It makes me feeling good inside that there's actually somebody out there that thinks that we have that kind of program that would give us an opportunity. I mean, that's what we've been working for. We've been working for that chance. We worked up to get to a BCS game last year. Finally, we got a chance to go through that door. Now we're trying to get to where somewhere we can have a team that's of quality enough that can play for a national championship.
A couple of weeks ago, TCU was in Fort Collins, Colorado to take on Colorado State. The city is the second largest producer of beer in Colorado, and Katie Love found out.
Drinking beer is a big part of the culture in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Fort Collins is known for good beer.
Beer is a kind of big thing in Fort Collins. I think the best thing I've ever heard about Fort Collins is that it's a college town with a drinking problem. I totally just messed that up. I'm going to blame the beer. It's a drinking town with a college problem. There you go.
The largest local craft brew house in Fort Collins is New Belgium Brewery, where people come from all over to sample up to 3 homemade beers for free.
Well, for a French guy, it's pretty cool because it's free. So I love it.
Yeah, anybody that's anybody goes here. And it's fun because they give away free beer.
Inspiration for the New Belgium Brewery came from a biking trip through Europe. After co-founder Jeff Labesh came back from his trip, he brewed his first beer called Fat Tire.
It's just been a theme that's stuck with the brewery as we've grown. We love riding bikes rather than driving our cars. It's, exercise. We drink beer here, so we need to make sure that we, stay fit.
Many people even rode their bike to the brewery.
Biking is a big thing here. There's lots of bike trails, lots of roads have a bike lane on them. So, you can pretty much get anywhere on a bike in the city.
New Belgium creates its own electricity and heat by using methane, which is produced by a processed water treatment. Part of the brewery's purpose statement is to honor nature at every turn of their business.
They've got a lot of sustainable efforts. They recycle a lot of stuff, and they're pretty innovative in their business practice.
Beers made at the New Belgium Brewery are in 26 states, and the company says they are hoping to expand. Katie Love, TCU News Now.
The 6-0 Frogs take on a BYU team in Week 7 that has struggled to a 2-4 record this season. That's all for sports. Back to you.
Thanks for the update, Chris.
Students got some fresh air while giving back to the TCU Purple Bike Program and TCU Habitat for Humanity. Ashley Ivine reports.
The third annual La Tour des Frogs allowed students to get out of their dorms and homes to support the TCU Purple Bike Program and Habitat for Humanity. Students came to the campus commons on October 4th to either walk, run, or ride around campus and give money to both organizations.
The TCU Purple Bike Program especially needed the donations this year after being temporarily suspended on campus.
The program was suspended because of inadequate space for maintaining and storing the bikes and accessories.
We have to have space for the maintenance, space for our parts and our tools, and currently we don't have that where we can actually do the repairs of our bikes.
While the money raised at La Tour des Frogs cannot directly help this problem, it can aid in getting more bikes that over 150 students are requesting.
And the Purple Bike money goes towards bringing more bikes on campus and towards fixing up the bikes that we already have.
Students could either give a flat donation or pledge a donation per lap that would benefit the organization.
I actually went home last weekend, and so I just had all my dad's friends pitch in, and so I had a donation per lap.
Wortworth said that after the organization was suspended, the university had to look at both the program and the number of bike-friendly options on campus to see how they could encourage students to be more green.
One of the things is we're also trying to emphasize the importance of being sustainable in your lifestyle choices.
La Tour des Frogs had 4 stations around the tour route that quizzed students about sustainability.
Well, it taught me a lot about what our planet is going through right now and how there are a lot of different ways that we can go more green.
Whether it was fresh air, exercise, or philanthropy that encouraged students to attend La Tour des Frogs, it all made for a good start to the week and maybe a new start for the TCU Purple Bike Program. Ashley Iovine, TCU News Now.
Donations for both organizations can be made throughout the week to the Sociology Department. The final tally for money raised will be announced soon.
The Frogs for the Cure football game is against BYU on October 16th. Event organizer Ann Loudon and film, television, and digital media student Katie Norrie, who's putting together the halftime video, says they are excited about honoring cancer survivors at the game's intermission.
I think the halftime video is going to be really different this year because it's a lot more video than in the past, and I think that it shows the TCU community supporting the breast cancer survivors.
My favorite part is being on the field at halftime, standing with a lot of people in the TCU community and many people in the Fort Worth community and larger who are breast cancer survivors or who've been affected by breast cancer.
There are 40 groups involved in this shooting of this video, and that's about 1,500 people on campus. That's a lot of people, and so here's a little sneak preview of what's going to be seen at the halftime video.
We're gonna survive. We're coming alive. Don't wonder why there's nothing we lack when we fight back.
The song featured in the halftime video is We Fight Back by TCU grad Tim Halpern. The song is available on iTunes with all the proceeds going to Susan G. Komen for the Cure.
First-year students are done with the freshman bonding program, Connections. The program ended with a loud and unusual twist to promote unity throughout the campus community. Andrea Drush has the story.
For centuries, drumming has been used to unite communities by making individuals feel like a part of something larger than oneself. This is the goal Daniel Terry had when he brought the interactive percussion group Drum Cafe to the final meeting of Connections Thursday night. Terry is a driving force behind the university's Community Renewal Project, which was implemented on campus this fall.
This was, it was two things. It was the last formal meeting of Connections for the semester, and it was also a way for us to launch this whole idea of community renewals.
Community Renewal International is a foundation designed to help disintegrating neighborhoods in the Shreveport-Bossier area in Louisiana. It works to reduce crime and violence by getting neighbors to care about one another through their interaction in its community centers.
We've never grown a society that gets better and better and better. Every society we've grown has collapsed, and we've got to find a way to answer that challenge.
Now Community Renewal's founder and coordinator, Mac McCarter, is bringing the program home to his alma mater. TCU is the first university to implement McCarter's model on a campus community.
People are talking already about TCU, not in terms of being number 5 in football, but in terms of what we witnessed tonight, that they're really going to show all of the universities in our land how to build community.
While TCU may not have much in common with the neighborhoods in Shreveport, Terry says the idea for caring for one another is universal among all communities.
It's because communities really aren't that different. I mean, yes, there are some who maybe are economically different than others, but at the end of the day, I think a community anywhere is about the relationships among the people who live in that particular community.
So where do the drums come into all of this?
It's all the barriers, everybody coming together and just having fun, the energy.
I'm Andrea Dresch, TCU News Now.
Community renewal was implemented into residence halls early this fall, but made its campus-wide debut at the Drum Cafe. Students in attendance signed commitment cards agreeing to take an interest in their community and the well-being of others.
That's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Lawrence.
And I'm Jordan Sullivan. For all of your latest headlines, you can check out our new joint website at tcudailyskiff.com.
We'll see you next time.